Hello, everyone. How is it going? Hi, hi, hi. The day today. Do you know what the day today is? It is Monday, and we're doing the Twilight Princess HD. Continuing on from where we left off last time. By the way, you might have noticed brand new spooky, slightly spooky music on account of it's now the spooky season. It's October. Um, so new music in the starting soon screen and also on the break screen. Uh, these next 3 months are the only months where I really do have to replace the music on like a monthly basis because you need Halloween music for the Halloween month. You need something else for November, and well, you can't go into December without some sort of Christmassy, wintry music. I do believe. How's the sound? Sound good? Yeah, that looks pretty good to me as far as the levels go. Anyway, I'm gonna be using the Wii U gamepad as I don't own any other controller for the Wii U. Now, I didn't do a save after seeing this cutscene last time, so we'll be doing this cutscene again in a second. But first, let me talk through some stuff. Let me just say a thing up top. First off, you know, new music. Second off, I will say I expect to talk a lot about a lot of anime this here stream on account of a lot did end, and also there is a lot that have started. But for now, there's just one thing I want to touch on real fast, which is that again, different schedule the next 2 weeks. Pull up the schedule, show you what's on it. Here about is the schedule. This week will be a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday week. I'm going to be out of town on Friday, so the viewer levels has been moved to Thursday. And on Tuesday, I'm going to do a little making stream. That is to say, tomorrow. I have that written down at 8 p.m. Central. Okay, sure, whatever. That sounds good. I think I put that in the schedule as 10 p.m., but whatever. It'll be somewhere in there. We'll see. It probably won't be the longest stream, I will say. Maybe like an hour or two. Basically, me starting to get like an idea of what the next stage is going to be. My 8-3. Don't have a name for it yet. Maybe we'll come out of that stream with a name. That would be nice. Week after next week, there'll be a just Thursday, Friday. That'll be the schedule for next week. No Monday stream. Instead, Twilight Princess will be continuing on Thursday instead. And that'll be that for that week. Basically, I'll be out of town on Monday as well, or traveling, or, I'll be out of town. It'll be a long weekend. I'll be out of town, and, yeah, won't be back until after Monday. So, we'll do a whole we'll do that on Thursday instead, and then Friday will be viewer levels as it usually is. That's the schedule stuff. Important thing as far as Twilight Princess goes, don't expect it next Monday, or don't expect the VOD to go up next Tuesday if you're looking for it on YouTube or something. It'll be like later. Good deal later. Anyway, that about sums up what I wanted to say up top. Not that much to cover tonight. Let's just get into the gameplay here, right into the game, pretty much. Where we left off, we're just coming out of the first dungeon. We're talking to this god of some kind. This god is telling us that Hyrule is not quite saved as of yet. We still have to do other things, more dungeons. We need to leave these woods and head to the land protected by Eldin. We're gonna have to head to Eldin, pretty much. I will have to find those who I seek. Oh, right, that's right. and we will become a beast when we travel into these lands. I forgot that part of the thrust is that we're looking for those ding-dang children who I'll say I think are one of the weakest elements of this game is that the character designs aren't great, and I don't really ever want to save them. I just want to go to the dungeons and do the stuff. And I don't give a crap whether some little baby wants to be a shopkeeper or whatever, you know. That to me is nothing. Anyway, I think the first order of business will be grape stuff. You know, doing the grape side quest, something or other. Anyway, Twilight Princess HD. Let's get into it. Here we are. Why does the roll is also on the right trigger for some reason? I don't know why that is. That seems weird to me. Is that how it was in the original game? Roll on the right trigger? I feel like right trigger makes more sense as a shield button. But I guess, you know... I guess as of the later games, they figured out, like, you know, oh, we can just combine L targeting and shielding now. They don't need to be separate buttons. When was that decision made? Was that in this game, or was that in Wind Waker? I know that, I think you could shield and, like, do mirror shield stuff in Wind Waker. So, that would just be, like, holding down R. I know you can also, like, duck in Wind Waker. That might have been an innovation for this game. Or it might have been part of the motion control thing. Ah, you know what? It might have been more of a motion control consideration than anything. You know, having fewer button on a Wiimote and nunchuck compared to, you know, the original thing. That's probably it, isn't it? Alright, let's head towards the thing, and I'll pull some cards as I go. How's the volume? Let me just check one more time. Seems fine. Let's, go ahead and pull a card while we're just walking and going a place. Though, then again, I have a feeling that... Well, cutscene right here. Okay, let's see this cutscene, and then I'll pull a card and talk about an anime what finished, I'll say. I'm also not sure if, like, it'll be directly... You know, we go to Eldin, we talk to the Eldin, we do some Eldin stuff, and we get into the second dungeon. I remember going to Hyrule Castle being a big part of this game, and like the haunted Hyrule Castle town. You know, maybe that's after Temple 2, which I'll say I have no expectations, no idea how long it'll take us to get to Temple 2, but we'll see if we can do it tonight. I would like to. I'd like to have a pace of at least one dungeon per stream. Hell, if we could manage 2, that would be that'd be lovely. Insofar as, you know, progress. There's a lot of this game, so the faster we get through it, the happier I'll be. In general, I guess. Not to say that I, you know, wouldn't enjoy playing this for longer, but no. Here's a card. I finished Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 3. First of the Friday shows that I finished off back on Friday. Rent-A-Girlfriend, the basic concept is there's this guy who's kind of scummy, and he rents a girlfriend, and they sort of end up in a rom-com situation where their families think that they are actually together, and whole hijinks ensues. Hello, Fauntleroy, how's it going? I'll say, oh my god, this asshole. I fucking hate this guy. In this game, I like him in the other games. But my memory of him in this game is just every time I want to go into a town, this asshole running up and being like, "Hey man, I got a thing for you." And it's just, oh my god. Why not just have the mailbox like dance and I'll know that I got a letter. Worst version of the character, I'll say. Okay, we got amiibo functionality. And let's see this letter. If I have a letter for you, I will approach at high speed. Please do not flee. I wish I could flee. It especially becomes bad in like the late game, where you like are warping around. Spoilers for the late game of Twilight Princess, where you're warping around as a wolf, and then the guy runs up, and you have to transform into a human, and you have to be like, oh my god, see these slow ass cutscenes, get a letter you don't care about, and then have to transform back into a wolf because you actually want to move fast. You know, it's a whole fucking mess. Anyway, I was saying Rent-A-Girlfriend. I'll say that each season of Rent-A-Girlfriend has been better than the last, and this season was the best of the bunch. You know, it's sort of a harem rom-com type thing, and this season introduced a new character who was the best. She was just very funny and peppy, and also immediately recognized that she was in a rom-com and that the two leads are into each other, and started pushing in a way that was super good, which caused things to happen. Also, there was like a focus to the arc, and it was a really good arc of the season. So like, I'll say that for the first time, Rent-A-Girlfriend season 3 is like S tier for me. It's like top tier. The last two seasons, the first one I thought was a 4 out of 5. The second one went up to a 5, but you know, wasn't like a favorite. This one's the best by far, and it was quite good. Quite enjoyed it. We're gonna become a wolf. We're gonna become a wolf. It's gonna be a whole thing. Don't worry about it. She's just gonna pull us into the Twilight. Let's go. Now, in the Twilight, we're gonna become wolf again. I'll say I remember the difference between Twilight and regular being more pronounced. Let's get going. She feels more at home here. I guess the sky is like yellow and black. That is weird. With black clouds. But like the regular environment just looks a little too green, you know? Just like only slightly particular. I guess it also has like black specks of shit all over as well. I'm gonna sniff it. Yeah, that's right. It's the stick that he had. And also the baby is on there. Why is the baby smell on the stick? You know what? He probably hit he probably hit the baby with the stick. That's probably how he do. Kids do that sort of thing. Right, now we can smell and follow it to you know, the one town in the area. Spoilers for running, I guess. Nice. Hey, look at that. We did a thing. And then those guys, they form a portal. Every time we fight these guys, we get a fast travel point. It's all right. Oh, and the bridge is out, so it's convenient that they did that for us. So we get our map out. We get portals, and yeah, we remember the bridge being over here-ish. So we get the bridge and put it there, and occasionally there'll be some mild puzzle solving around, like warping a thing to a place. What the fuck? Who put it here? It's my job to look for the bridge. There it is. I found it. Who put it there? Why is it there? What's the deal? I don't know. Did the Twilight creatures take it? I can't really say. They're lifting that shit up. She is lifting that shit up. I'm gonna warp it, and then we'll warp over there after it. Hey, how about another card? This is pretty straightforward. Another card, I also finished The Gene of AI. If I give that one a 4 out of 5. That is an anime about sort of a technological future. The main character is like a back alley doctor, and he works on like various medical problems that like robots have, and it deals with like the ethical implications of those ideas. I'll say it has interesting ideas and it plays with them reasonably well. It's all just basically parables. It's all basically just a bunch of parables, one after another. But there's enough of them and they're interesting enough, and even if the characters are a little bit flat, because hey, by the way, the characters, they're a little bit flat. It's still interesting enough, you know. Even if the world's a little hokey, the character's a little flat. There's a lot that isn't great, but it's like, it's interesting enough. 4 out of 5, I think, about where I landed on it, with it. I'm gonna dig under. Not that much to say about it. Pretty good, but mostly in terms of just like, oh, that's interesting. It sort of makes you think, but only just a little bit, you know? I should go, huh, that's interesting. Oh, what's that like? Oh, what if an AI wanted to not, you know, was corrupted but didn't want to like reset to a couple days ago? That is interesting, huh? Huh. Another arc is like, oh, this boy has like a like teddy bear, and the teddy bear is programmed to like learn stuff. Is it an actual AI? Like, most people would say no, it's just a toy. But he kind of treats it like it's, you know, still a thing. And is he too old for that? I guess. I don't know. A whole bunch of weird like ethical edge cases, just one after another. It's interesting. It's intriguing, if not like complex or like compelling, you know. All right, we gotta talk to this guy and get our grapes. This guy has some grapes for us. Now we have these grapes. We have to get, I believe, 12 of them. The insects of darkness, as they're called. It's the same as before. Just have to find like 12 insects, and they're marked on the map, and there's 12 of them. I was watching a thing about Twilight Princess HD or something, I forget. Actually, I think I watched a part of Linkus07, a speedrunner of Wind Waker, did a video about how the speedrun changed for HD and how what like exclusive tricks HD has. I only watched a little bit of it because I don't want to like look too far ahead of where I am. I know I finished it before, but you know, I don't want to necessarily like I don't necessarily want to see parts of the game I'm not at yet. until, you know, we get to that point in the game again. But, he was saying that one of the changes they made is that they changed it from 16 of the little grapes to 12, which is fewer, and I appreciate. Who do you think these ghosts are? Oh, it's the kids. We're gonna get a cutscene. Cool. I knew that was gonna happen. I remember that much. Who the fuck is the one on the right? They've been hiding somewhere. Wait for their helpless prey. I don't think they care about spirits. I don't think they eat anything. You know, they just wander around to be menacing. You know? And these guys, they're trapped as spirits, but they don't really notice it. And it doesn't really bother them. Remember the lady from the general store? Just one of those things attacked her. And a whole gang from town went to save her. What? She was already gone, and there were 2 monsters waiting. Weird. Or are you saying that the people become beasts? Become like the monster guys that are like the minions? Not like Universal Minions. Not like the Minions Despicable Me spinoff. No, I mean like the minions of Ganondorf or whoever is in charge here. Zant, I suppose. There is a cellar. Go ahead and open it. I think you got a bug down there. It seems like they can interact with sticks and fire, so... What exactly is the downside to being a spirit? They can do everything they could do before. Maybe they can't eat. Maybe that's the one thing they can't do. Which, you know, if you don't have to eat and get to still live, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a bad thing to me. Yeah, I'm watching you. You guys can't see me for some reason, but I'm here. I guess the reason they're spirits is that they can so that we can like do stuff in their area and not be affected by them. Ah, that's weird. Okay, so some people get turned into a dark monster. Okay. Don't worry, we're going to find 12 little bugs, and that'll be that. It's not very many, grand scheme of things, you know? Okay, where do you leave the stick? Here is the stick. Do another Carterino in a second. As soon as, I bet they'll have something to say about the statue moving. Ah, no, they don't. I don't care that. Here's another card. I also finished the Masterful Cat is depressed again today. Went with 5 out of 5 with a heart on that one. That was another Go Hands joint. So it was a series that people kind of like had a negative first reaction to because the first episode had some ridiculous bad 3D stuff, but like I'll say after the first episode, none of that shit came back. You know, they didn't spring for it a second time, which thank God. And also, hey, the show's fucking great. Basic idea is that there's this lady and she has like a giant cat, and it's role reversal. Basically, the cat basically play acts the role of the owner, and the owner play acts the role of the cat. You know, basically with the cat taking care of like food, cleaning the apartment, you know, grocery shopping, things that an owner would typically do. for their pet, you know, takes care of her, and you know, and she, after a long day from the office, she is only happy to like just slouch over and like just passively eat and relax and chill in much the same way a pet would in general, which is a bit of fun. It's a fun setup, and they do... The fuck is this? Why can you... I can open this grave for some reason. Ah, money. Money is why I can open this grave. There's money inside the grave. Well, that's... Probably shouldn't take that in general. If you find money in a grave, are you a grave robber? Well, I'm a wild animal. I'm allowed... Wild animals are allowed to take things from graves. Fauntleroy says yes. Damn it! Oh, jeez. Anyway, Masterful Cat is very fun, very good. The way that the human acts like dependent and the cat acts like in charge is funny every time, and the extended cast is also great. It looks above average, I'll say, despite the Gohan's influence. They did a damn good job on it. I was quite delighted by just about every part of it, except for like the first scene that was like super ultra 3D. That was weird and bad, but the rest of the show, lovely, good fun, charming, and yeah, good shit. Again, the basic idea of having a office worker just be like so bent out of shape at the end of the day that she just wants to slump over and be babied by her cat is just inspired, and it works really well. The cat is really cool. He's kind of silent. He only communicates by going like huff, you know, like making like monosyllabic like puffs and like other voiceless type things, you know, like you know, he's sort of like very impressed with himself oftentimes. It's good. I quite enjoyed it. We need to burn this fucker out. Where'd it go? Anyway. Next card. I also finished My Tiny Senpai. 3 out of 5. What's the deal here? Yes, I can see there are enemies. I don't know why I need to cut. This is the thing they were talking about earlier. 2 guys here. The shop owners became monsters. I bet the shop owners are upstairs and they're perfectly fine. Basic idea of My Tiny Senpai is that there's a guy, he's regular sized, he has a senpai who is small, and they sort of like each other. That's about it. It's alright. I always write like a, I always write like a sort of letterbox style review up on AniList, sort of. They don't have that sort of system, but I put it into the notes, you know, of each of the anime that I watch. And for this one, Tiny Senpai, I wrote that the characters, much like the scorpion and the frog, they basically just like repeatedly play out they play out every scenario they find themselves in to type, you know? Like, exactly to their like... It's predictable, in other words. I thought this was a fun way to explain, like, yeah, they basically act according to their stereotypes, like, just entirely every time, which is, you know, it's alright. The man, the normal-sized man, he doesn't really have much of a personality, but he's nice, and he acts a little overeager every time. There's the thing, you know, the girl, she is small and cute, and she acts like a cat a little bit sometimes. you know, in with the tradition of being a small person in an anime. And they're office workers, so it's kind of, you know, vaguely workplace. The workplace stuff is, like, borderline okay. It's not bad, I guess. 3 out of 5. About the best I can do for that show. I did think about higher, but then I realized, like, wait, this is very, 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 very average. There's no way it should get anywhere above a 3, realistically. One last anime that I finished over the weekend. Am I actually the strongest? It's an isekai, and no, 2 out of 5 for that one. I gotta say, what is it with isekai that are not very good having to put in their name something like strongest or some other sort of, like... There's other animes that have done this, which, you know, are something like strongest isekai or like, unrivaled isekai, you know, if you shorten them, right? And they tend to not be very good, and this one was not very good. If I were to describe what the problem with this one is, I'd say, like, well, the magic system is pretty good. The characters and world and stuff were okay. The problem is the main character, he is just like a huge wiener. That is about what I would describe him as. He spends, like, most of the anime trying to get out of doing anything in a way that is, like... the opposite of impressive, you know? The opposite of cool. He is, like, chronically uncool. Like, one of the things he does is he takes on an alter ego and acts like sort of a Sentai hero in order to disguise himself, which just is, like, the most uncool shit you've ever seen. Not in the sense of, like, being problematic, just, like, not cool. Like, cringe, you know? It's just like, oh my god, dude. Like, I get that you sort of originally put on this facade for your kid sister, but, like, you're fighting mostly adults, you realize. And, this is weird. What the fuck is going on here? There's nothing here. Anyway, strongest isekai, 2 out of 5. There are some parts that are okay, but overall, too much of a wiener. Such a fucking wiener, I just, you know, just couldn't. And one more thing on, like, last season's anime. That was the last of the shows from last season, so the seasonal tier list is now done. I now have a big ol' simulcast anime tier list for summer. You can see there, S ended up being pretty big despite this season sort of feeling kind of whatever on the whole. With Zom 100, Undead Murder Forest, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Tonikawa, OVA, ONA, High School Days, Reign of the Seven Spellblades, Master Kaz Depressed Again Today, Rent a Girlfriend Season 3, Reborn of the Vending Machine, I Now Wonder the Dungeon, and Pori Mia and S, Spy Classroom, Saint Cecilia, Dreaming Boy is a Realist in A+, Helk, Dark Gathering, Malevolent Spirits, and Monogari Core 2 in A. In B, Gene of AI, Devil's a Part-Timer Part 2, Season 2 Part 2, and the first Slam Dunk in C+, My Tiny Senpai, Level 1 Demon Lord and Wonder Room Hero, C, Sweet Reincarnation and Mixed Messai Story Season 2, and an F, Happy Marriage and I Actually the Strongest. Oh, that is a whole bunch. I will say of those, you might, if anyone is, like, keeping notes or, like, cross-checking the reviews, the ratings that I give the individual animes, I will say that Mixed Messai Story for this season is at a C. Overall, though, it is a 2 out of 5 on account of the second Mixed Messai Story was a 2-core show, which means it had 24 episodes, and the first 12 were entirely terrible, like 1-star material. And this season, they remembered it was supposed to be a baseball anime, and they did some baseball, and the baseball was okay. So I'm okay putting it into the C tier for this season specifically. Still a 2-star show overall, I will say. Let me get into there. Oh, we need to get up on the roof. Oh, you know what I think we do? We climb up over here. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the season. All the anime that finished over the weekend. There is actually a lot that started over the weekend as well, but you know, maybe we'll wait a minute before we start into that. Okay, yeah, we'll take care of business. I think I need to push this block. All in all, I would say that this season was pretty good. Not as good as the last few seasons, I will say. But it had more than enough S-tier, top-tier stuff by the end. You know, stuff that I either came around on or stuff that was, like, you know, really fucking good from the starts. I will say, most things last season, I do feel like we're a little more middling, you know? I feel like, more things sort of like were more growers, I guess, than showers. You know, they don't. Some of the S tier didn't even make such a good first impression. You know, I sort of had to warm up to them. Like, for instance, it took, because of the way that the first episode of Masterful Cat went, it took me a while to realize, like, oh wait, this is actually really good. This is actually like top tier material, and I feel like that was kind of the case across the board. I feel like there will be fewer, though there are like plenty of S tier, you know, anime ended up being like pretty robust as far as that goes. I feel like when it comes time to the end of the year, there won't be that many that necessarily like pop off and make it to like my top 10 list that I do. Though I am expecting Zom 100 to make that list. Zom 100. That's a top tier show. I will say I don't really believe in like splitting up S tier, you know? Like, I feel like if something is an S tier, and that means that I just feel like I want to give it the highest honor. If I start having an S tier and an S plus tier for like Zom 100 and a couple more, that would only diminish the, you know, I feel like it would only diminish the ones that didn't get that, which I don't really want to do. But if I were to do such a thing, I feel like the split between S plus and S would be more towards S this season rather than more towards S plus. But again, I don't really want to make that distinction. As far as I'm concerned, something gets it into S tier, I just feel very, very strongly about them and want them to have as big an honor as I can give them. Okay. I think we need to go through here and climb up through here. That'll be it. How y'all doing, by the way? Doing good? I'll say for my part, you know, currently between things right now, so not a lot to speak of as far as like, you know, I don't have so much in the way of work to do other than, you know, look for places, and, you know, there are enough places out there. I'll say I have enough people, like, reaching out to me where I have, like, you know, filling my time up during the, like, you know, part of the day just like applying and talking to recruiters, taking a lot of calls, whatever. I don't know if that's a good sign, you know. I feel like that's gotta be a good sign, right? Like having like a bunch of recruiters just like constantly. I lit it on fire, it's cool. Having enough where I'm just like constantly like being like, okay, well, we can talk, I'm busy tomorrow, but we can talk like Wednesday. I'm trying to keep it to like two like big phone calls a day, and then some amount of like just like applying for jobs, you know. Feel like that's a good sign anyway. But also, I don't know if like every recruiter is like 100% serious, you know. Some recruiters are just like just fishing, you know, just like trying to fill something that they might not necessarily like be the #1 source on, just looking for people to put forward, which, hey, you know, I appreciate being like scouted or whatever you call it when you're like approached in that way. But you know, basically just doing some of that, you know, doing it at a nice sustainable rate, and also just like watching some anime, playing some games. Watched a lot of anime, I'll say. Speaking of anime, why don't I just like talk about some of the new shows? And I'll say, first off, like this isn't necessarily a card, but I will say like Frieren, which is the show I watched on Friday before Friday's stream. So I have, you know, I've already talked about it last stream, but I'll say nothing in the last 3 days has quite measured up to Frieren, which I watched the other 3 episodes of at the time of the stream. I had only watched 1 episode of, and yeah, goddamn, Frieren is pretty fucking good. Really quite enjoying Frieren. Nothing else is quite measuring up to Frieren. If you want to know what Frieren is, it's a show. This seems to be very popular. It's, by my first impressions, it's an Anime of the Year contender, right up there with Oshi no Ko and whatever other animes you'd put up there. I would put Oshi no Ko up there with it. The basic premise is that it's about an elf who is really ageless, and about how she sees time versus like her mortal human companions. You know, the first episode sort of deals with her like over a 50-year span returning and meeting up with some of her old comrades and realizing like, oh shit, you're like old now and like about to die? What's up with that? Shit. I didn't really think about it. I was just exploring for 50 years. And it's... we need to learn the song. There we go. There's the song. And it's pretty goddamn good. Oops. Close enough! Okay, good. It's pretty damn good, Frieren, and I'll say, like, nothing has really measured up to it. But a couple have been enjoyable, and most of everything else has been, like, okay. Which is to say, like, yeah, it seems fine. Like, yeah, it's a show, they made it, it's not bad. But, like, will I go forward with it? I don't know yet. We'll talk about those in turn. And maybe like, identify which ones are good, which ones are worth checking out, which ones are worth, like, half a look and like, okay, well, whatever, that sounds fine, you know? This is an important song. This is... Song of Healing? Okay, so we just unlocked another move giver, basically. We can go get another move later on. Good. That'll probably be like the shield thing. Wait. Is there a second one, or is that the same one? Okay, yeah, that's the same one as before. Wait. We gotta get the thing. Can't forget about the bugs. My #1 recommendation would be check out Frieren. They put up like 4 episodes all at once on last Friday. They are 4 really goddamn good episodes. It's sort of like somewhere between To Your Eternity, a fantasy, any like fantasy adventure anime, and like Otaku Elf, in that it's like a you know, a story about a near ageless character and their relationship with like the more ephemeral characters of their world over like a long period of time. And also there's a little bit of a like you know, long-term relationship between like characters that are appearing and doing stuff, I guess, is how you might explain it. That'd be like my #1 takeaway so far, and you know, I don't know if there's gonna be anything else that's like quite as hot. I mean, I hope so. And I'll say like, you know, I am expecting some stuff like Uma Musume Season 3 and Dr. Stone, and like, there's stuff that has been excellent, awesome in the past that I am expecting to be excellent, awesome still. You know, like Spy X Family. There's gonna be stuff this season, if only from the returning shows, but I'm not sure if there's gonna be anything else half as good as Frieren, returning shows aside. Yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully. There's like some stuff that is really good. I also kind of hope there's some stuff that's really bad, so that when I watch like 5 minutes of it, I can immediately go like, oh, this is terrible. I'm turning this off right now. You know, a lot of cases right now it feels like stuff isn't necessarily like super bad. It's just like very okay, and I, you know, feel like I need to watch like the whole 20 minutes, you know, really give it a shot. Whereas like if it was really bad, I could just turn it off after 5 and be like, no thank you, I'm gonna make fun of it next chance I get, you know? And that'll be that. It's simpler that way, when you can do it that way. It's been a lot more, like, even, I guess, lately. Damn it. A is let go. Alright, we got, the guy... Where's the bug? There it is. We got 2 more bugs left. And we just ignore these guys and just like run towards the other bug. Not this way. The guy is making weird trumpety noises. They're weird enemies. Okay, last one here is, where is it? Buzz off. Ah, there it is. Yep, come on. Okay. Yep. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, that's grapes. Grapes are done. Light has returned to the area. It's gonna be a little more like white-ish. You know, the environment's gonna look a little more normal. Midna is not, you know, as into it, but whatever, you No, hey, she likes being a shadow as well, I think. What is this? Is this crocodile or is this elk? Goat? It's a moth. It's a moth. It's a giant moth bird, I think. Maybe more of a bird than a moth. I remember the crocodile. Crocodile was cool. Hey, what's up? That's me. What do you want me to do? Dark power you seek lies in the sacred ground of the proud mountain dwellers. Yes. Those grounds have already been defiled, draped in shadow and seeded with evil. Okay, I'll go over there and do dungeon stuff. Don't worry about it. I've done this before. Well, literally, I played this game before. Figuratively, Link... Figuratively? Technically, Link has also done it before, insofar as he's done the first dungeon, and it's basically going to be the same thing. He's a pro. This is not his first rodeo. This is the second rodeo. The second rodeo, jeez. Fucking kids. I'll say again, was never a big fan of these kids. I especially don't like the shopkeeper baby. No. No. That kid's okay. The one with the blonde hair. Yes, that's right. How'd they end up here? What the fuck happened? Doesn't make any sense to me. What the f- Okay. He's always making that face behind the mask, apparently. You could see it a little bit in that when he turned his face. Why? Beast took us and left us to die? Why did they do that? I don't understand. They just wanted to create drama, I guess. They must have had a reason to, like, split up the kids. Because once Twilight fills, it's supposed to just be, everyone's unable to do anything, I guess. It was a terrible dream and we couldn't wake up. I guess. It seemed like you guys were moving around to me, acting as if you weren't spirits. So there's some bad blood. Yeah, I heard from the spirit it's been, like, fucked up. Okay, dude, good luck with that. I guess we're doing like... So is that the next thing here? Getting the kids back home? Oh, jeez. I would like to just, like, walk up that... If this was Ocarina of Time, right now you would walk up that path and go to the thing, and maybe they'd say, like, you need an item. Go get that item. You know, like, you need Syria's song or something, right? Except it'd be like, you need to go get some boots. Which, you know, same as Syria's song. Kids dodge. This kid don't dodge. Why does not this one dodge? Doesn't really matter. These ones don't dodge either. I guess these ones were, like, programmed to be, like, they're in the tutorial area. So if you, like, took a swing at them, they would dodge and be funny. Whereas everyone else is just like, you know, you know you can't harm an NPC. Magic sword. I don't know if there's a reason why you can't. I don't think there is. Okay, seriously, what are we doing here? What's the plan? Okay, looks like they want me to go to the mines first. Good, okay. I don't know how I would take these kids back. Anyhow, I would need some sort of, like, horse and buggy. Horse and wagon. And, I don't see any sort of wagon. I could get a horse. Yet. I remember there's some stuff with that later. We must need to go up to the Goron area and then, talk to Goron guy. You know, figure out what we need is what we need to do. And then we can go back to town and get what we need. Whatever that may be. Alright, Goron Fetch Quest, I guess, is what we're doing next, okay? That sounds fine. I think. Okay, this is like goats. But stronger. So he pushes us off. There's nothing we can do about it. We need some sort of something. Now, question is... They're just gonna tell us, okay. There is one person who could do it. The Bo, the mayor of your hometown. Yes, okay. We'll talk to Bo then. Do we have to return with the children, or can we just return? Surely they wouldn't mind the children staying here and, like, tending shop for a while. Is that my horse? I don't remember having such a fancy saddle, so I don't think it is. Oh, I guess I did. Oh, I know it. This was a motion minigame. I got it. That's why this is here. I guess that explains a good deal of like side activities in this game, why they felt like adding such things, you know, once they knew it was gonna be motion controlled, at least on the... Once they figured out, like, oh, we're gonna do this on the Wii, you know, they must have inserted a bunch of, like, fillers that were just like, you know, a good opportunity to do like a little mini game or something, you know? So, what are we doing? We have to go inside and say like, hey, let's go, or can we just like go? I'm not sure. Why did they go inside if they went inside? Are they inside? Maybe they're not inside. They are inside. Why do you guys go inside? Okay. We need to go back to the hometown and we're not bringing the kids with us. Good. Okay, it'll be faster that way. They can stay here. You know what? It's fucking dangerous out there. They really don't need to go home. This town is plenty safe enough. Well, I guess it does have, like, 2 different entrances. And it is bordered by a bunch of guys who aren't being nice right now. So, how's about a card? Watch the first episode of Firefighter Daigo, Rescuer in Orange. First of the new shows, my first impressions of it were like, it seems okay. Basically, it sort of starts in the future. There's like some sort of huge crisis going on, and some firefighters are doing fighter things to save people. And it's like, okay, well, this is some reasonably good heroism, I guess. Like, the action in that is, like, executed pretty well, I suppose, but it's sort of hurt by not knowing who any of the characters are, and the fact that since they're all dressed so similarly, it's hard to tell any of them apart, you know? And then you get into the actual episode, which takes place while they're, like, in training, and it's just, like, very, 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 very intense training that is, like, okay, you know? You watch it, and you're like, okay, this seems really intense, really, like, strenuous training. I would be impressed if a person actually did any such training like this. This asshole. Fuck off. Fuck off. I just give me the fucking letter, dipshit. Every part of this is like 5 minutes too long. The mail thing, in particular. How do I get to the D-pad, Ryan? Maybe you couldn't originally, like, hit the A button to, like, maybe originally you couldn't hit the A button to, like, skip the end of that cutscene, but, like, there's still enough of that cutscene that's too long. Daigo, I'll say while the training is impressive and, like, a little bit, it feels well executed and, like, interesting enough to watch, I do think a problem with it is that, you know, I've watched a whole episode, I have no conception of the characters, any of them. They all seem, like, extremely vanilla, extremely just like, oh, I'm like a try-hard guy who wants to save people. Well, I'm a try-hard guy that wants to save people, but also I feel like I can't do it. And the third character's trait is like, oh, I'm, you know, I'm a try-hard, but specifically the lady kind, you know? And that's about all I can say about their personalities, which seems like a failing to me of a show where I cannot say a damn thing about, like, the personality of the main character or whatever, other than, yeah, they want to do good in the world. Sure, who doesn't? Anyway, it wasn't bad, so I've not cut it yet, but I suspect I will, like, after an episode or two more, let's say, you know, rule of 3 as far as, like, there's, like, a 3-episode rule that people give anime. I'll give it more time, and, you know, at some point I will make the decision and probably cut it, would be my guess at this point. I don't see myself watching a whole bunch more of it. Ranga Crimson. Watch the first episode of that. Basic concept is it's set in a world where people fight dragons, and the main guy is a guy who isn't very good, but he's like the partner of someone who is extremely good, and he gets like a revelation that she's about to die. Long story short, there's some like time travel nonsense, and he gets the powers of his future self, which turns out to be like the greatest powers in the world. Meanwhile, it seems like the whole country has fallen around him to dragons, which I guess those are, you know, that means that they have their work cut out for them as far as like, oh, they sort of have to liberate a Spain's, the country in question, the map, judging from the map, it's basically Spain. They have to sort of liberate actual Spain from like dragons who are trying to destroy it, which seems kind of cool. I think it seems kind of cool. I like the main character. I like the side characters. I come away from this one mostly positive. Ranga, I see no reason as of yet why I wouldn't watch more. I expect I will watch to the end. Though, you know, it's not like the most extraordinary thing. It's a little messy, I feel like, so far. But in a way that's, like, cool and interesting. And, like, gets me interested to see what the fuck happens next. You know? It has me on the hook, in other words. Also, I do think the main lady in that is really well. The girl that is like his partner is well designed. She's like cute. She has like a big scar, and she makes a lot of cute faces, which is good. I like that. There are maybe a few more things about that anime that are weird, but whatever. What's up? Why are you sad about the children? Was one of them yours? Hello, dog. Dog, dog, dog. Look at that, he actually carries the dog like a person would. That's had to be like a note of like, how about instead of like holding the dog like this, he holds the dog like, you know, like you would hold a dog, like a baby, you know? That's nice. Oh, he's cute. I wish you could pet the dog. I wish you could, you know, give some back rubs, whatever. That'd be nice while you're picking him up. There you go, buddy boy. All right, seriously though, where's the mayor? Do we need to return back to the other town now and like tell them that? What's up? You say. Where is the mayor? I don't know where the mayor is. I talked to his wife. Does anyone know where the mayor is? Hey, buddy. What does this guy want? Children are alive. Oh, he just wants to know that the children are alive. That's easy. I just want to talk to the mayor. You think the mayor's on the... There's the mayor. Oh, I guess this is the mayor's house, not the other place where the sword was originally. Or the shield, I forget. Why do we have to come inside? Kakariko Village. Renado's an old friend. Tell me of my little girl. Oh. No, I didn't see your girl. My love interest. Sort of the love interest. I guess people might say that Midna is the love interest. But, I think the game very much positions Ela to be the love interest of Link. And, anyone saying Midna, you know, it's just people with eyes who can see, like, what do you mean? You made, like, a very basic love interest, yes, but you also made this, like, feisty demoness who, is sort of your actual partner throughout the game. There was no way people weren't gonna latch onto her as, like, the one that was, you know, gonna be the focus, I guess. The Goron's a Death Mountain? Yes, I need, like, shoes or something. If only I had, like... Yes. If only I had really good shoes. You've heard of sumo wrestling, right? No. No, I'm good, I know. I've played this game before. We can dodge, we can slap, we can push. And it's sort of rock, paper, scissors style. Another minigame that was perhaps put in here for like motion control type things. You can dodge. And if you get fucked up, you sort of have to, like, get aligned or something. In actual sumo, you can also just, like, put someone off their balance rather than just exclusively pushing them out. You know, you can, like, trip them up or something. So long as you yourself do not put anything other than the soles of your feet on the ground. I've watched an anime about it before. What? Why are we doing this again? I thought we'd done this. Are we not done? So slap counters a move. And dodge counters a grab. Well, dodge counters a... What? Maybe staying still? How do you do a dodge? Is it like a movement in the right direction? Doesn't matter. We'll get through. Here we go. Big item. Here we go. Ba ba ba. The iron boots. I wondered if he found them or if he had them made. Yeah, don't tell anyone. They're kind of cheating. I got it. I'm gonna equip them now. You don't need to have the pea shooter equipped, I guess. And Mick. Put the boomerang on R. Alright, that was town stuff. We have everything we need to go to the next dungeon, I guess. So let's go to the next dungeon. Hey, perfect. We're not that far into the stream, and we have a dungeon in sight. I like that. Dungeons are definitely the highlight of the game, you know? The best part. In the meantime, while we're just, like, walking back, I guess. More cards. Watch the first episode of Overtake. This seemed really well done. Sort of a, anime about, F4 racing. As sort of, the main character is a photographer who is tasked with, like, doing some photography for an F4 race. And he's sort of, like, drawn into the world through the episode, which is, you know, effective. And so far as, like, yeah, he's a newcomer to it. We also don't know what the fuck the deal is, so it's nice to walk in his shoes and be, like, you know, exposed to it about the same time as him. And it's interesting to learn about, like, oh, that's just how these races go. And these racers, some of them are sponsored, whereas some of them are just guys who had enough money to just, like, buy a really good race car and wanted to race. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool of a thing to have. I think it's so far really great, and I appreciate the angle as far as, like, you know, it's something I perhaps haven't seen before. Someone getting involved in a world alien to them as part of their photography job. Like, there's a lot fewer, like, photographers in anime as far as, like, main characters go, I guess. I can think of a few. I can think of a few that did photography as, like, a hobby, or, like, Insomniacs After School had that. It's not so uncommon, but this is... I thought it made it really interesting as, like, a racing anime goes that's all framed from the perspective of a photographer fresh on the scene. You know? By the way, sounds good here. Everyone can hear. If that sounds interesting, check it out. It's alright. I'm not like the most positive on it, though. It's not like it really grabbed me or nothing, but it was well done. I thought it was I thought the setup was interesting and well done. And I'm looking forward to more. It's not like the greatest thing yet, but seems like it has potential. Overtake. I watched the first episode of Shangri-La Frontier. The first of the two not isekai, VR MMO anime this season, which is to say, it's an anime about an MMO. People who are playing an MMO. The setup is this guy. He's sort of like a min-maxer. He gets off on playing bad games, and is just coming off one that's like especially bad, which you know, he's a little bit weird about, but in a way that is kind of fun. It's kind of fun the way that he like is really like talking a bunch of shit about how he hated the game that he was playing previously, you know, and how that manifests in the anime itself is reasonably funny, though also a little weird in that the first thing he does is he beats up an NPC who was like story essential, but since he finished the game, he could then kill the NPC, you know, without any consequences, which, okay, dude, kind of a weird, like, first thing to put in an anime, right? Like, oh, he brutally kills a woman. It's like, well, you gotta understand that she was very annoying throughout the entire game. It's like, okay, I guess that's kind of funny, then. He's kind of a weirdo. He's going into an actual good MMO, and he, you know, he min-maxes in a way such that he's wearing, like, the speedrunner get-up. He's got, like, just his shorts on, just his underwear, and also, like, a bird mask for some reason, which, okay, sure. It's fun. I don't know. Could be good. We'll see if it, like, gets all weird or something. You know, like, more weird than it is now. If it gets, like, more weird than fun, that could be a problem. I think it's kind of fun so far, so, you know, so far so good. And I'll say, you know, this is one where I am interested in seeing what happens next. Like, if, you know, if there's more adventure, if there's, like, another adventure to come, something else that he's up to, I'd be interested to see any of that. Next one. I also watched part of the first episode of The Family Circumstances of the Irregular Witch. Basic premise there is that a witch who seems to be kind of ageless takes on an adoptive daughter who is like, well, she's like human, so she will age, and the anime sort of takes place after, like, God damn it. The anime sort of takes place after her adoptive daughter has turned, like, 16, and she is, like, big, tall, and busty, and the regular witch is, like, you know, chibi. She's, like, 200, but she looks like she's, a kid. And that seems to be most of the joke, is that, like, oh, Mama looks really small. Mama looks like the daughter. Daughter looks like the mama. But daughter acts like she's 6. It's weird. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I was definitely like came out of that going like, okay, these jokes aren't landing, and like the 16-year-old girl that looks like she's 26 and acts like she's 6. I just can't. You know, she is just like stacked, you know? It's just ridiculous. She is tall, stacked, etc. And she acts like, mommy, hey! No one says bad things about mommy. And it's just like, well, you look like you're 26, first off. And you're acting like you're 6, and I could see why, you know, someone thought this was very funny. Because like, oh, haha, the little girl has bigger boobs than her mom. Isn't that fun? And it's like, I guess, no, it's not doing it for me. I think that might be the only one that I got to just say like, okay, this seems like a little trashy. Nah, not today. Not for me. Gonna go ahead and do a thing. Ah, jeez. Pigman is here. Man on a pig. Ah, jeez. We're gonna have to do a whole thing before we go to the dungeon, huh? Get out the fucking way. What are you doing? What is she doing? Fucking run, nitwit. These fucking kids. That's not far enough. You only shoved her like 2 feet away. He has an arm. He can reach that far. He's making the face he makes. That's fine. We're gonna have to save these fucking kids now before we go to the dungeon. I suspect we won't have to take them home, but we will have to save them. How about various animes that came out this weekend? Watch the first episode of Berserk of Gluttony. This is like a fantasy show, Berserk of Gluttony, where like everyone has power, and main dude's power is like gluttony, which he thinks just means that he's always hungry. He's really picked upon. It seems like a world where the haves and have-nots are a whole thing, and people who have not are really like put upon, you know. But in a moment of bravery, he kills a guy, you know, in the line of duty. He sort of like works as a guard sometimes. And then realizes that his power is not just to be a hungry loser, but his power is to like steal the abilities of anyone he kills. So that's pretty cool. And the rest of the episode sort of unfolds with him like you know, with him like getting more doing some grinding, getting some abilities, and you know, suddenly being a lot more powerful and strong than he was before, which is cool. I will say, let me give this a little less audio. I'm gonna just take it down to 15, negative 15 decibels. Not that the specific decibel count matters to y'all, but seems like sometimes the music is louder. I'm gonna try to account for that. Anyway, I really like the power thievery is always a fun thing to have, I think. And this makes it so that, you know, in each episode, presumably, he'll be building up his powers, his stats, and just doing a bunch of cool, like, character growth type stuff, which is often pretty interesting. And, well, I found this episode to be pretty interesting and pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I think it has some potential. You know, it's cool the directions it has gone and how you know, the main character can steal abilities and stuff and grow his stats that way. Like, that's just a good conceit, no bones about it. Wait, should I? Oh, I can't use the boomerang from... Oh, yes, I can. Oh, but it's worthless. It doesn't do anything to him. What was that? I remember this boss fight being better, I guess. Just a big game of like run after a guy and hit the B button. I guess there's a good reason why we never had like boss battles on horseback in the original Ocarina or Majora's Mask. You know, it's good for getting around, but like battling from here, maybe if you have a bow, it's like okay. And then you can just like auto aim and just like auto aim and hit the button, I guess. Alright, we just have to do like another round on him on the bridge. If you've seen Smash Brothers, the stage, this is that stage. Last time, hey, last week, if y'all like recall, if anyone were to recall, we did a raid on someone playing Smash Brothers, and Birdie V, I believe. And I believe she was playing on this stage at the time of the raid, which was a happy coincidence. You know, the stage based on this game, based on this part. Which, you know, is interesting. Whew, how about another card? I finished rewatching Uma Musume Pretty Derby Season 2, 5 out of 5 with a heart. I mentioned before, recently, that I've been wanting to finish this off on account of, turns out that the next season of Uma Musume is in like 2 days. So I really needed to finish it off, and yesterday just went ahead and watched like 4 episodes in order to get like all the way done with it. And you know, saw some amazing episodes. Twin Turbo's big episode, for instance. Just some wonderful shit in there. Uma Musume is a show about horse girls who, you know, they race, and they're also kind of cute and fun, you know? They're both things. And it's sort of, the original season sort of had like a half idol anime, half sports anime vibe, whereas the second season like goes entirely into sports anime territory to great effect. It's like some really high quality sports anime stuff, where like a lot of it deals with Tokai Teo is the main character of season 2. It deals with her like arc from going like the top to like you know, struggling with some setbacks, you know, injury, that sort of thing, and you know, it's some of the most compelling good ass like drama there is. You know what, let me pull off a spoiler thing real fast, just to name like 2 specific examples of like amazing, incredible moments. There's a bit, again, spoilers for Uma Musume Season 2. There's a bit where like, you know, she is just fresh off an injury, and she's been told like, you know, hey, it's gonna be weird from here on out. You might not recover from this, right? You might not be able to use that leg again, or run quite as fast as you once were. Where, like, one of her friends is like, hey, time me. And, while her friend is, like, running around the track, she's, like, trying to imagine, like, herself running alongside, and, you know, it's very clear, and so far as, like, oh, even in her imagination, she can no longer keep up. She can no longer keep pace. And it like cuts to her face, you know, during this whole thing, and she's just like fucking breaking up into fucking like tears, man. It's fucking like, you know, to see her like pain and like her like how low she goes that season. It's just wonderful. And then I'll tell you about Twin Turbo. Twin Turbo, you know, as Tokai Teo is like gearing up to retire, Tokai Teo like seizes command of her like event and displays like a race that is going on at the moment, and it's Tokai Teo, and she's in first, and she's winning, or it's Twin Turbo, sorry, and she's just like, you know, like just like clearly at her limit, and just starts shouting like, Teo! This is what happens when you don't give up! And it's just like shots of Tokai Teo going like, ha 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 Just like fucking losing her shit, and it's so good, and oh my god. End of spoilers for that. Season 2 is just like some of the best sports drama out there, and I'm really hoping Season 3, like tomorrow, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not sure when it is. I think it's either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm hoping Season 3 like measures up to that, and also I'm hoping that it's a new character because I feel like they've done entirely what they could with Tokai Teo and like her rivalry with McQueen. By the way, all the girls are named after actual horses, actual racehorses from Japanese history, you know, from like actual historical racehorses. And also I think like the results of the races are pulled from history as well. So I think the idea is that like, you know, all the struggles in this season are basically like ripped from the records books as far as like, yeah, Tokai Teo did take this time off back in the day. You know, Tokai Teo did have these struggles with like you know, racing these races and struggling with these results, and like when you know things happen that are good, know that like, yeah, that's what really happened. It's amazing, isn't it? It's heartbreaking in some cases. And there's characters other than Tokai Teo. You know, there's a ton of Ghost Girls, and some of them even get like really big major arcs that are really damn good. Like, you know, for instance, Twin Turbo. Twin Turbo's arc, one of the best. I love Twin Turbo. She is just a little gremlin, a little blue-haired, hyperactive menace who is just constantly pulling stunts. You know, she's a little gremlin in the best possible way. We saved the kid. You didn't save shit, dude. You pushed her like 5 feet out of the way. If the guy had had time, he could have gotten her as well. I guess, dude. He's talking about being brave. Yeah, I did save you. You might have noticed. I will say, season 1 of Uma Musume is a lot more uneven. You get the feeling they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know where they were going. It's still fun and funny, but it's just a little bit, you know, less sure of itself. Whereas season 2, different production company and like slightly different direction, and they fucking nailed it. Ooh. Okay, have fun with the kid. I'm gonna go to the dungeon, and I'm going to take care of business. Very cool. That sword does look cool, I'll say. I like the red handle and the hilt. Both of those things look good. Hey, we're done with this shit. We're done with the kids for now. The kids can go fuck themselves. We are out of here. We're headed to the mountain to do Goron shit now. We're gonna head up there. We're gonna go in the dungeon. We'll probably have to do some sumo wrestling before we do so. But, you know, it's not that long of a walk. We've already been up there in ghost wolf form. So, we know the way. Probably won't be that complex to go up and do some, Goron business. Very good. I also have, by the way, still more anime to talk about that came out. I've covered all the ones from the weekend up to yesterday, but there were like 5 or 6 from today. There was like a whole fucking crop from today, and I will talk to them. A lot of Monday shows, I'll say. Probably gonna have to make some cuts eventually, but for now, I'll say all these Monday shows are at least okay, and I'll say one of them, for me, is the standout. Maggie, Migi, and Dolly, first episode of that. This is a really weird show. I came out of this not knowing what the fuck to make out of it. The premise is that there's like a couple of orphans. Couple is adopting from an orphanage. They're like a fancy couple. And they decide to adopt a kid. But little do they know, they've not adopted one kid, but actually twins that like hide and like do like they switch places rapidly in order to disguise the fact that there are multiple of them. And they have a lot of weirdly specific skills insofar as you know what I just remembered? I just remembered we didn't get the dog. Ah, fucking it's a little too late to go back and get it. I guess we can make a note next time we're in town. If anyone wants to remind me dog, please do. Anyway, they sort of like switch places and do a bunch of schemes in order to make sure that their ruse goes unnoticed and they can play act the perfect son while actually being two rather cynical boys who are, you know, trying to pretend to be one, you know? It's weird. And the thing that's weird about it is that all the, like, there being two of them stuff is, like, underscored by creepy music. It almost has, like, a horror vibe of, like, oh, look at this, they're pulling a fast one. Oh, yeah, I forgot these guys are not friendly right now. I forgot that they're not friendly. I totally expected to just go up and go, like, hey, what's up? Totally forgot. Anyway, Migi and Deli, whatever the fuck. I'll say it has me, like, morbidly interested in where the fuck this is going, you know, like, what the hell is going on with these two weird kids, and are they trying to pull... Okay, we need to... I didn't see that, but okay. This is not... no. Okay, so... shield plus the boots works. Oh, I could also dodge a punch. Anyway, it's weird, but in a way that makes me go like, what the fuck is going on here, you know? Makes me curious to see where the fuck it's going, and, well, I'll watch some more, but my gut is telling me, like, this is probably gonna be way too fucking weird. I have that as a tentative right now. I'm not sure I will commit to that fucking weirdo show, but, man, if you like that sort of weird, creepy shit, like, these kids are acting, like, so creepy and doing a bunch of weird shit in order to, like, switch places or cooperate or, you know, act as one despite supposedly being as two. Okay, everyone here is chill. No one cares that I'm a human here. Yeah, whatever, dude. I appreciate y'all having a good attitude about this. Greetings, what's up? We can buy things. We can get oil, a wooden shield. Why would you sell a wooden shield here? This is like Fire World. Why wouldn't you sell like a metal shield? That would be actually handy for this particular zone. I also watched the first episode of Ron Kamonohashi's Forbidden Delusions. Seems like a pretty good, like, detective type anime. Basic premise is there's this guy, he's like a detective at a police station, and he's been told to go talk to this, this, like, detective dude. And, this guy does some Sherlock type shit and figures out, like, a big, you know, murder mystery. Turns out he has a weird thing going on, which is revealed at the end of the episode, which is kind of weird and doesn't really seem like super plausible in the way that like the rest of the anime seems really like grounded, but this one weird detail is a weird detail to just like slip in at the end of the episode and kind of makes things a little weird, but I liked the characters enough, and the mystery was really well constructed, and I liked seeing the mystery, like, come to fruition. If it continues to have, like, pretty good mysteries, and, like, the Sherlock Holmes motherfucker just, like, immediately, like, figuring them out, you know, all, like, near instant, like, that'll be pretty okay. I'm not 100% sure yet, but seems good so far. I feel like I need to start, like, you know, hedging a little bit. No. Just because good so far doesn't mean it necessarily has to hang. Considering, like, how many shows there are, and I'll say, like, I didn't see one of them so far on Monday that was, like, bad enough to immediately cut. But, whatever. I also watched the first episode of I'm in Love with the Villainess, which is a sort of an otome show where, we're gonna do Sumo now again, by the way. What's up? Darius is missing. We come from this town. We come from a different town, actually. Outsiders are not allowed unless they are brothers, maybe? We could be brothers. I'm playing with the stylus. I should stop doing that. I'm pretty sure it's the noise of it, like, once plop, has been on microphone. I'll stop. He didn't let me put on my boots. Is Link smart enough to put on his boots sometime in the interim? No, Link, put on your boots. Also, he didn't get dressed in the loins. Yep, need to put on the boots. Yeah, okay, I'll go eat stuff, and that'll help. I'm in love with the villainess. Basic premise is that a girl gets reincarnated into the role of a, you know, otome games like protagonist, and she actually really loves the villainess in particular. And so You know, she's just like constantly trying to come on to the villainess and do other such things in a way that is like relatively unwelcome. You know, where the villainess is basically trying to bully her and shit, and instead of like taking the bullying with like distress, she goes like, "Oh, I love to be bullied." She's sort of a masochist. And that's it's kind of fun actually, you know, in that way. It's kind of fun watching like this girl like be like weird about it. It's kind of funny, you know? To see her take everything that's thrown at her and just be like, "Yes, thank you. I love it. You're so cute. You're such a cutie." And have the villainess just be like really confused and stuff. I think it's good. I quite enjoyed watching it, and I'll probably continue watching it. Pretty sure. Okay, so they touched the treasure, and the treasure was bad. We will fix this. Don't you worry. That is correct. The spirits did guide me here. That is the thing that they did. Okay, we're now cool with the Gorons. I don't know about this thing that this game does. You know, puts the Gorons in like traditional... I feel like the Gorons were just good like without any clothes at all. And without the sumo like aspect to them. I don't know. I liked it before, the way they were. I guess they're good either way. It's time for the Goron Mines. Hey, it's not called the Fire Temple, it's just the Goron Mines. I was wondering what it would be called. How many of these are explicit temples? Is the Water Temple explicitly the Water Temple? Or is the Forest Temple going to be the only one that's called the X Temple? I'm pretty sure the Water Temple is like the lake bed or something. Not dried lake bed. That doesn't make sense. It's not dried. It's wet. I wonder. I guess we'll see as we play more and more of this game. Arbiter's Grounds could have been the Spirit Temple in another life, you know. I guess we'll see. Hey, we're in the temple now. Let's do it. I only have like a couple more anime to talk to, which that's pretty good. You know, pretty happy about that. You know, I don't necessarily want to just be talking about anime all night, though I wouldn't mind it, I guess. I spend a lot of time watching anime. I feel like I should, you know, I should speak to experience from that time spent. It's a lot of what I consume, so it's a lot of what I talk about, I guess. Not just, you know, makes sense to me. And I hope that there... I mean, I do know. There are... I am on Discords with quite a few folks that are like, you know, frequent the anime channels as much as I do. And are just as clearly, like, trying out a bunch of shows, sticking with a number of them. I think I stick with above average amount. But also, I do know people who stick with ones that I don't, you know, so... Not like I've seen the most of anyone. Then again, maybe I watch ones that they don't as well, you know. It's all down to taste. And, you know, also in some cases, like, what you've seen before. Seasonally, you know. I can't watch a season 2 if I haven't seen a season 1. Though I will say, oftentimes, if there is a season 2, that does make me more interested in going back to the season 1. if only like theoretically, you know. I usually don't watch new shows these days. Well, let me revise that. I don't watch new shows that aren't simulcast, that aren't just coming out. Because, you know, I feel like I've scraped the bottom of the barrel. I've gotten everything I really want. As far as, like, old shows go, I'm just more looking now to new shows that are coming out that could be, like, top tier or pretty good, or just at least, you know, watchable, worth watching, you know? Though sometimes I stick with a show that's bad and I, you know, regret it later, I suppose. How about another card? Watch the first episode of a playthrough of a certain dude's VR MMO life. I'll say, of the anime that came out today, and indeed maybe even the anime that came out over the weekend overall, I would say this one's the highlight. I would say, since Frieren, this is the first show that I've watched that I've been like unambiguously like, oh, this is really good. I am really enjoying this. Oh, this is great. Basic premise is there's this guy, he's playing in a VR MMO. And I'll say a funny thing about it, which is that the show starts with him going like, well, I'm 38, so, you know, I'm old and shit, you know. But, when I'm playing a VR MMO, I can feel young still. Which, you know, only 5 years away from that, so I feel a little bit, like, put out by the idea that, like, like, anywhere in 30s has to be old dude territory. Yeah, I feel like at least until you get to 40, you're allowed to feel like mostly young. I don't know. I still feel like a young man. Maybe that's part of that is just like, you know, I have parents that are a lot older than I am, and they always will be a lot older than I am. I don't feel like, you know, I have graduated to that, like, next role. Still feel like the junior partner. But I guess that's always how it will be until, like, you know, you get kids or whatever. I will say, you know, I don't think I don't see that ever happening, but, yeah. I will say, regarding that, my sister, did publicly announce the other day that, well, she's having kids. She's having a kid in, like, you know, a number of, trimesters, you know, which, I have heard about before, but, you know, I didn't want to blow up any spots, even if, you know, it's maybe a little hard to trace back, but, I'm happy for her, and I'm feeling weird about the idea of being an uncle. I'm feeling a little weird about that, you know. Am I going to be a cool uncle or a weird uncle? That is the thought that comes to mind when I think about that. Also, I don't know about like, you know, having to directly deal with a kid on occasion. You know, family functions, that sort of thing. That seems like it's gonna bring the whole vibe down or, like, change things to a whole different deal, you know. I've had cousins that have had kids, like, in the last 5 years, you know. 10 years, Jesus. Yeah, one of my cousin's kids is really... One of my cousins has, like, 3 kids. He's, like, 5 years older than I am, though, so, you know, it's not so unusual for his kids to be that much older than... To be, like, significantly older than, like, the norm? I don't know. It's not so unusual, but still, I don't know what to think about that. Anyway, that's a tangent. Let me talk about the anime. A certain dude's VR MMO adventure. I really quite enjoyed it. It's solid. The basic premise is that this dude is playing a VR MMO, and well, he goes in basically being like, okay, I want to come up with a build that and pick some stats where people aren't going to want to recruit me and shit, you know. So I'm gonna pick a bunch of shit that in the demo, in the beta, seem to be really underpowered, intentionally, just to get people off my back. Is the idea, which that's a fun idea, and I'll say one of the good things about the show is that it doesn't super entirely work out that way for reasons, and also it's kind of interesting to see him like take these skills that are like in apparently like balanced poorly, like low, not strong, and find ways to combine them, find ways to make use of them, and put together like a compelling kit of cool stuff. Like one of his original problems is like, okay, well, no one picks medicine as a stat because it turns out the NPCs have like sell potions for very, very cheap, right? So you don't really need to generally worry about potions. But then he like starts doing things that the NPCs won't do, like, oh, I figured out with my cooking skill I can mix in some grape flavor into the potions, and you know, wouldn't that be nice? And then, you know, maybe stuff happens and there's more demand than he expects. Or like, another thing he does is he gets a bow, because in like the beta, bows seem to be incredibly underpowered compared to magic or like swords, and you know, he trains in how to use it effectively, and it's pretty cool to see. It's almost like shades of Beaufry, you know. It's not quite as extreme as in Beaufry, where the premise is like she puts all of her points into defense, and she is basically just can no-sell any attack, but also cannot move normally or do any other such things. Why do we have to fight these elders again? Oh, we don't have to fight these elders. We just need to get the big key from them. Okay. That's weird. That's like a little bit divergent from the formula. Normally in the formula you would, you know, find one big key. And that's that, but in this case it's 3. I guess that's cool. You know, doing things a little differently for fun, mixing things up. That's usually a good thing for a game to try. And I think in this case it's inoffensive. I will say though, the increased prevalence of minigames, I don't know. That's that part. Minigames and like mediocre story content, like that part, not as good. Anyway, VMO RPG almost feels like Beaufry Light in that you see this character like work out like clever solutions to making his stuff like powerful and you know, have a better reception than he perhaps expected. And it's fun and light and good, and I'm having a great time with it. I quite enjoyed it. And I'll say, like, coming off the other anime from the last day and change, it was very funny insofar as like, oh, this is a great anime. I'm not just like tolerating this. I'm not just coming out of it thinking like, this seemed alright, this seemed well made. I'm coming out of this saying like, it seems well made, it seems alright, and also, it's enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I like actively was, you know, enjoyed every minute, had a great time, really looking forward to more. That's perhaps the sign of a really good anime, where you're like, watching it and not just like, tolerating it, I guess. You know, you actually get into it a little bit. And also, like, you know, it's more than just sufficient. And I'll say, like, some of these other shows are more than sufficient, but this is, like, the most more than sufficient I've seen in, like, since Frieren on Friday. You know? It was like damn good, you know? And I'll say there are other ones, like I will say that the I'm in love with the villainous. I also felt like watching that I was really drawn into it, and at the end of the episode, I was kind of surprised it was over. I think generally that's a good sign as well. When you're watching an anime and you're just surprised when it's over because it hasn't felt like 20 minutes of content. It feels like it's just started, you know? Often I think of that's a good sign. How's the audio right now with me just like trudging along? It's a little... Fuck! I thought I was over something. I'll lean in a little bit, how about, when we're trudging on those electric paths, how about? An area we were in earlier? Yes, I remember this. I remember this area clearly. Yeah, we started out... Yep. We went around the whole other area. Seems like there's multiple paths here. I'm not sure which we want to go down. I'm not sure which we want to go down first, and I'm also not sure, like... You know... I don't really want to go through a dead end, you know? This is cool, walking on the ceiling. I think it's very cool. It is also very slow, which is unfortunate, I think. Another card. I just have 2 more anime left to talk about. I watched the first episode of Shy. Premise of Shy is that there are superheroes in the world. They sort of act like magical girls. You know, they sort of transform. Japan's superhero is named Shy, and she is shy. It's sort of about a superhero with social anxiety. Also, there's some, like, real life, you know, fantasy life, like, divide stuff where, like, you know, she's living out a normal life as a like, you know, middle school student, I think, in her, like, normal life, which seems like it could be nice and light. I will say I had some problem with this anime as far as the logistics go. There's like a roller coaster crash in there that is... Look, I know a lot about roller coasters, and I know that they do not crash like that. You know, roller coasters have in the past stopped in the middle of inversions, but it's like not that common on account of gravity. Gravity sort of like causes things to go down. So if it's gonna stall anywhere, it's gonna stall at the lowest point. Actually, usually. And also, roller coasters are very safe. They have safety systems wherein even if one did start to roll back, it wouldn't be a crisis because, you know, they have safety systems that account for that. Unless there had been, like, some sort of long-term damage that had been, like, not accounted for, you wouldn't see such a crash. But you know what? Hey, they needed a situation that required a superhero. I guess that's fine. I'm just being nitpicky on account of I know a thing or two about roller coaster safety. You know, I've watched a YouTube video or two. I know what block zones are. And let me tell you, block zones, they don't work that way. They don't work the way they did in the first episode of Shy. That's her superhero name, by the way. Her superhero name, by the way, is Shy. It seems alright. I like Shy. I like implausibility of some certain elements aside that require me to suspend my disbelief a little too much. I think it's a fun little show about a magic girl superhero. She's more of a magical girl than a superhero. And also I'll say, like, a weird thing about it so far is that everyone's powers are really nebulous. Like, it seems like they all have 100 powers that are... So far, anyway, they just are constantly pulling out new powers that they have, which, okay, sure. I like it more in My Hero Academia, where everyone has just one power, and they have to figure out how to make it work and, like, how to make it really flexible and good, you know? And therein lies, like, the excitement, you know, and like, oh, I have my one boutique ability, and how am I going to use it to counter guys? Instead, it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fly up there. I'm going to, like, you know, super speed over there as well. I'm going to, like, slow my descents on the way down because I can, like, make wings. I have a booster pack. It's like, what is the deal here? Why do you have so many? Pick one power, please. All that said, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I think I will stick with Shy. Not the biggest fan or nothing of, like, everything it does, like I said. You really do have to suspend your disbelief a bit, but it's good. Looking forward to seeing how exactly that goes with more episodes, more time. And there's, like, a hook as far as, like, the personal life stuff goes of Shy, you know? Her living out her normal life in addition to, like, superhero stuff with, like, superhero guys from all different countries, which, by the way, part of the gimmick is that every country has one superhero, which I don't know how that would work logistically. One person, even if they had superpowers, could hardly cover, like, a whole nation, especially if they ever were to leave that nation to, say, cameo in an episode of a show that's set in Japan, you know? Like, that just doesn't seem like it would work, honestly. This is some Portal 2 shit. Look at this. This is like... Portal 2 has exactly the same puzzle. With you, like, making a thing that you have to drop into. You know, coming out of a wall and then you drop into it, all 9. Very similar. We got 20 rupees. Alright, we opened the gate. The cutscene sort of used up most of our time the first time we hit it, so that's fun. Good thing it didn't happen the second time, I guess. Can we kill these guys with swords? No, they're too... Their eye is too high. We're gonna need to cut that wire. I don't know what that did, but here I go. Stomp, stomp, stomp. One more anime to cover that I watched like an hour ago before the stream. Not an hour ago. It's been... We're 2 hours into the stream, so it must have been like 3 hours ago now. But I watched the first episode of the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. This one also seems pretty good, pretty okay. Sort of a reverse isekai, where a demon lord is brought into, like, the world 1,000 years hence. And I'll say it's a good version of that. I've seen that before. I think this is the better of the two anime that have had that premise that I know of. Because the future world that he finds himself in is, like, interesting. There's, like, interesting stuff going on, like, you know, factions that he's never heard of that he's going to have to deal with. The magic system is, like, entirely different for the people of the day that he finds himself in. They all use, like, weird guns instead of, like, magic or swords or whatever. And he's sort of, like, perplexed by that. As a reverse isekai, I feel like the more different the world that the fish out of water finds themselves in, the better. And I think, like, this world that he finds himself in is interesting. You know, the things that they fight are interesting, that the way that they fight is interesting. The only thing I'll say as a negative is that the monsters are very 3D, and they look like shit. That's, you know, sometimes is unavoidable. Sometimes when they make anime these days, they use 3D for the monsters, and in this case it is very noticeable. Unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Ah. Very good. That's, all the anime talk I had prepared. I'm happy to have, you know, finished it in a timely manner. No. I was a little worried, honestly, that, like, with this many shows and stuff to talk about, you know, we could be here all night talking about anime, most of which I would probably say, like, yeah, you're fine not watching it. I would maybe recommend, like, well, one, Frieren, obviously. I would recommend from last week, there's also the daddy-daughter anime. That one seems alright. My daughter, that one's called, My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer. That one's pretty good. I would recommend that one as well. But you know, long story short, like, of the shows that have premiered so far, like Frieren, Daughter, and MMO, RPG, Certain Dude are the only ones I would, like, 100% recommend. But then again, a couple others are, like, you know, I'll say they come in the side of pretty good. So if you're, like, the kind that watches, like, a ton of anime, there are a couple of things already that I recommend, like, trying, you know. But if you watch, like, 2 anime a year, like, yeah, well, Frieren. If you watch, like, 2 anime a year, my recommendation would be, like, okay, 1, Oshinoko, and 2, Frieren is probably, like, the 2 that you want to see. Zom 100 is also up there for, like, you know, if you only watch 1 anime a year, I would say, how about you make it 3 and Zom 100, Frieren, and Oshinoko would be the 3 I would suggest. By the way, I talked about the seasonal tier list. You know, if anyone's, like, checking notes, you might have noticed that Zom 100 and also Spellblades did not end yet. I will say, those ones, they sort of... The last episodes of Zom got delayed, so they're gonna be a ways out. Who knows? And there's 2 more episodes of Spellblades. It didn't get delayed, it's just that it was a 15-episode season. So it ended up being, like, 2 weeks longer than everything else in the season. So I figured, like, well, let's not wait 2 weeks before making that tier list. Let's just do it now. And also, I'm happy putting that in S, even if I haven't seen the last 2 episodes of it. So that would be my, like, if you just see 2 a year, 3 a year, like, yeah, okay, well, prioritize then. But if you see a lot, like, there's some good stuff, and I hope that me going through them interests someone. I mean, I know that there are people out there that like anime. I like anime. Maybe you wouldn't mind, like, hearing anime opinions and some thoughts about such things, you know? The underside is safer for some reason. I do have more cards, but first let me talk to this guy. Give me your key, old man. This is Brother Gore. Yep. He gave me a key. Thank you very much. That's all I needed. There is something that may help you, a weapon. Yeah, we'll get the weapon. Is it a bow and arrow? I don't know why bows and arrows, you can't just buy one, you know, in this world. I feel like people wouldn't just, like, find their weapons in chests. They would just go to a store and buy them. No Zelda game really has to explain that, though. Why you can't just buy your weapons. You know, except for the ones where you can buy your weapons, in which case they do explain why you can. But, like, no, it's taken as understood why, you know, people don't sell swords. They don't sell, they don't just sell you a sword. They don't just sell you a bow or like, you know, well, bows, arrows, all that, that's one thing. Bombs, bomb bags. Those are one category. I guess on the other side is things like the iron boots, like the magical bracelets. Those ones, they make sense. You know, because like, okay, yeah, it's a mystical, one-of-the-kind item. Of course, you can't just sell it. Sell me one, okay? I get it. Let's, talk about something. Wait, let's not. Seems like maybe a boss fight. Oh yeah, something's going on in this room. Dude, you're actually supposed to give me the thing. This guy has misunderstood his duty, and now we must fight him. We gotta wait until he punches. Pretty much. Okay. How am I supposed to dodge and, like... Boss seems annoying. There was a button pressed there. I probably needed to hit A. Hold A, okay. I think it was hold A. Ooh. A little tired. Probably a good thing, you know. Want to have the sleep schedule be like on track for like, you know, big interviews and such. Going to sleep like in an early time tonight would be a good idea to that end. No. The trouble is with that is that if I get up too early, you know, maybe I'll be I might be tired in the middle of a stream like this, and you know, it's a little awkward, isn't it? Making that much of an adjustment. If it was just a normal day, maybe I could just power through, you know, and not worry about being tired at like, you know, 10. Or if I am tired, just go to bed. But not on a stream night. On a stream night, I want to hold myself to doing better. Well, not doing better is a weird way to put it. I want to hold myself to the schedule. Yeah, I'll do that, dude. Thank you. Glad we can agree on something. I'm not sure how much right now we'll do after the end of this dungeon. It's looking to we're probably looking to finish this dungeon up around like 2.5 hour, around like the 3-hour mark. That's about right for a stream. I am pretty sure it would probably take another 3-4 hours to make it to the next dungeon. Maybe we could do like the next thing immediately after this dungeon. But honestly, shorter streams are like ideal. I should be leaning more towards shorter streams anyhow, I think in general. You know, if just for like schedule purposes, and also, you know, the Pikmin series, like towards like the first half of the year, those ended up going really long, and I don't want to necessarily go too much in that direction. I feel like for a while we've been doing more like 3-4 hour streams, even on Mondays, and I think that is ideal, especially considering that they do start like at 8, not exactly like 6. You know, I go late, you know, into the night, in other words. We'll see. Statues. I can now shoot them. Now, why don't I talk about something that's not anime? I have a handful of cards here that are, you know, meet that description. Yeah. I'll say it's not like the most robust lineup ever. I haven't made too many cards on account of having like 20 anime cards. I don't know if it was 20, but it was a lot, you know. But why don't I pull one and talk about it? This will actually be a thing that's like rather, you know, a thing that's happening soon, which is, I mentioned earlier that the schedule was different for the time being. And the reason is I'm going to Orlando over this weekend. I'm gonna go visit my cousin. Now, I will say I have, you know, internet access from Orlando, so I don't necessarily think of this as an interruption to the job hunt or anything, you know, in case any, like, and like, you know, I will still be doing job hunting, like, you know, outside of that weekend, but recruiters don't work on the weekend anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I don't think. And you know, being free of job means that I can you know, travel a little more freely, I think, and take advantage of that while I can, you know. And also, it should be fun to go to all the theme parks. We're sort of working out the plan as for that. Me and my cousin. Apparently, like, my cousin's sister, my other cousin, might show up for some of it, which is fun. Also, my cousin's, like, boyfriend. He's also going to, you know, attend the parks, I think. Should be fun. I'm planning on, one, Universal Day, which I don't think my cousin has ever been to Universal, so that'll be fun. She lives in the Orlando area, but apparently she hasn't been. She focuses more on the Disney side of things, which I'll say part of it is that she has, like, tickets that let her bring in a guest or two, or 3, question mark? Which is pretty damn handy for the Disney parks. Definitely will be, you know, doing those and having a fair bit of fun there. I've not been to the Disney parks in, like, maybe 15 years. So it's been a good dang while. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing, like, the whole Star Wars area. Looking forward to seeing, like, the whole, like, there's like the Pandora area, right? That's not the California Disney's. That's in the Orlando Disney's, right? I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing like the Galactic Blast, Galactic Rewind, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. That's kind of unintuitive, but whatever. I'm looking forward to seeing the Galactic Rewind ride. Forward to a lot as far as Disney goes. If I had to pick, like, of the 4 parks, I would probably focus on Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, I guess. But also, Epcot has the newest roller coaster that they have, the Galactic Rewind. I definitely want to check that shit out. Well, I want to check out like every like major roller coaster there, but you know, Galactic Rewind in particular is on my list, so definitely will probably want to hop around and go to Epcot as well, and probably like eat dinner at Epcot. Like that's sort of the main attraction as far as Epcot is concerned, right? Like dinner time stuff. That sounds like a good idea. I also probably should spend some time in the original like you know, the original park, the original, you know, Magic Kingdom. I don't know that anything in particular there really like speaks to me, other than like, you know, I guess I could ride like Space Mountain, whatever else they got there. You know, it is like the most popular theme park in the world, so they gotta have something good that I would enjoy. I will say, generally, I tend more towards the thrill side of things, which, you know, is why I've typically gone to Universal. I've gone to Universal a lot more times than I've gone to Disney. But also, I'll say, of the trip, I'm really looking forward to spending a day at SeaWorld. I've never been to SeaWorld Orlando, and for years now, I have been, like, really interested in, like, spending a day there, you know? I've been really curious about, like, spending a day at SeaWorld and, like, riding all their roller coasters, because it seems like they have a pretty good, tidy collection of roller coasters now, and, you know, as someone who's, like, more thrill-oriented, it sounds like a pretty good, like, day, you know? I'm not sure, like, how much of a competitor they are for Universal as far as that goes, you know? I understand they don't have that much in the way of screen rides, nor, like, other such things, but, you know, I'll say I've never ridden a flying coaster. I understand that Mako is a flying coaster. I'm trying to think. Superman at Fiesta, Texas. That's like a stand-up. No, it's not a stand-up. It's not a stand-up. It's one of those, like, you're just strapped in. It's not a, wait, is Superman a stand-up? It might be a stand-up. I forget. Maybe it was originally and it got converted or something. I'm not sure. I don't think it is. I think it's just, like, regular restraints and nothing really special. Superman at Fiesta, Texas is, anyway. I'll say that they have rides of types that I haven't rode before. Like, I haven't ridden a ride with, like, a, what's it called? A rolling launch? What's it called where it's a shuttle coaster, kind of, where you go up a hill, but you don't go all the way, and then you return, and then it sort of has, like, multiple boosts, and the third boost gets you over the hill, and you complete the course like that. I forget what that's called. It has a name. Wait. Where the fuck are we going? How do I move the fucking map? What the hell? Oh, you use the touchscreen, huh? So I am here. Over here, it looks like there's one... Over here, it looks like there's one thing in a chamber. There's two things for me to get here in this dungeon. They're both kind of behind this door, so... Let's just stay the course, I guess. Go through here. And then, like, head towards, let's see. For this one, I want to go that door there. There should be a thing that I can get. I wish I had like a hang glider or leaf to glide with right now. That would be handy and fun to be able to just do such a thing. All right. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be a hell of a weekend. Really looking forward to, you know, riding 5 parks, going and doing 5 parks that I haven't really done in living memory, and you know, doing them right. You know. Oh, this is probably like the alternate path that we didn't go down before. Probably has like the whatever the collectible is here. This is gonna be an annoying one to grab. I bet this isn't even the... I'm feeling pretty confident that this isn't gonna be the... This is gonna be like a heart piece or something, which, you know, hey, I'll take another... That'll fill up my hearts, my heart pieces, and give me a new heart, but still... It's not gonna be the key. I guess, actually, also... We know that the key has to be in some room with some guy. You know, the key isn't just gonna be out on its own in a random chest. We know this already. Still, we already came back here. Let's just get it. Annoying or not. So yeah, really looking forward to that, and also, you know, looking forward to spending a day at Universal. As I love Universal. I can't wait to go on the Mummy again. I, you know, haven't been on the Mummy in a while. The Mummy is like one of my favorite rides at Universal, and I'm, you know, the last time I was there, it was closed for refurbishment, so, you know, it's been a while. Also, you know, I should say there has been a new ride at Universal since the last time I visited. Which is to say, Minions Blast. Minions Blast is new. I will ride that for the first time. And, yeah. And we'll see what else we can do in, like, a day. Generally, I have had, like, longer Universal trips. I've went with, like, my ma, she also likes Universal, so, you know, she has... You know, done a number of trips the last few years, which have been fun. And she usually likes to do, like, most of a week, you know, during the summer. Where, you know, she's a teacher, she has lots of time off. So she's able to just, like, you know, do a extra long Universal vacation. Which, changes the calculus a little bit insofar as, that's funny, she's a calculus teacher. Funny choice of words there. Changes the calculus a little bit insofar as, like, what you do, right? Like, when you have, like, 4 days, you do everything. And then you do everything again. And then you do, like, a couple things that you didn't do on the first time, on the first day. You know, like, I do think that on a multi-day trip, you definitely ride every ride, like, a couple of times, pretty much. Every good ride, anyway. And every bad ride at least once. But on a single day trip, I can't imagine we'll go on Fast and the Furious. And also, I would have to imagine that water rides will be, like, less of a thing. You know, considering it is October. You know, I know it is hot in Orlando, in Florida, still. Just as it's hot in Texas. Honestly, it's pretty hot in Texas still. Despite it being October, it's like... Let me see. Tomorrow's high is 91. And that's... I'll say, looking at that now, that's pretty good. A 91 high, that's pretty low for how it's been recently. I know, terrible, right? Not great as far as weather goes, but, you know, you take what you get, I guess. But anyway, I would have to reckon that those things get skipped, which is a shame, I will say, because I think that Bluto is hilariously fun. I think that Dudley Do-Right's Soft Falls is a top-tier log flume. Definitely the best log flume by a country mile I've ever been on. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's ones at Disney that are just as good. You know, I'll say it's been a while since I was on, like, the Country Bear one, so I don't remember how good that one is, but I feel like it's got a ways to... It's also older than Dudley Do-Right, so I gotta imagine it won't compare well technologically. Damn it, this is just a dead end. I would have to imagine there not being time for those, and also the weather not being right for it, but we'll see. Maybe my cousins and others will be like gung-ho about getting wet a little bit. Maybe it'll be like reasonably hot where we'll want to, like, you know, do that. And of course, like, you don't get all that wet on River Adventure, so maybe we do River Adventure. And if all else fails, I could always do that poncho thing that people do sometimes where they wear ponchos when they go on the wet water rides, which, I don't know, I feel like that's the coward's move. I'll tell you what, maybe what I would do is I would consider, like, bagging up my shoes. Like, putting, like, some sort of watertight bag around my, my feet specifically. But not my shirt, not my pants. Those things will dry. Those things will dry, and it's part of the fun to get very, 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 very wet. You know, that's part of what you're riding the ride for, is to, like, really, like, get soaked, you know. I'll also say, by the way, I remember that Blizzard Beach, and I remember going to Blizzard Beach like 15 years ago, and I think that that one was really good. I think that, I went to, and of course I've gone to Volcano Bay a number of times. Neither of those things are on my agenda for, I doubt we would go to either park, either of those, during the trip, during the weekend. Like, nah, it's just not gonna be the thing, you know? How do I get over to where I need to go? Oh. What? Huh? Is it gonna pick me up? I needed to be centered. Weird. Or maybe it had to lower all the way before it could pick me up. I still think that's weird. Other things I'm looking forward to. Well, Velocicoaster and Hagrid's are like two top-tier attractions, so I guess I'm looking forward to, like, you know, my cousin going on both of those for the first time. I feel like anytime someone goes on a ride for the first time, that's gotta be somewhat interesting, doesn't it? Isn't it? Like, what are they gonna think? Are they gonna laugh? Or is it gonna be like the... Are they gonna go, holy shit, that was so good. I honestly don't know how my cousin feels about thrill rides. I hope she's you know, happy about it and down for it. I guess we'll see. I guess I will see. Y'all, I'll tell about later, I guess. I'm not really sure at this point, I will say, like, how the fuck, you know, once I'm back from this and there'll be a Thursday stream, that stream is gonna have a lot of ground to cover, and also it's gonna be the next dungeon, maybe next dungeon and change. Maybe we could do 2 dungeons. I don't know how I'm gonna cover, like, all that content, all that stuff that happened in one single stream efficiently without derailing things too much. You know, me talking about like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that. You know, I probably will have pictures I might want to show. I mean, I'm gonna go to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 7 parks. 2 of which I've been to many a time, but 5 that are gonna be like near brand new to me. Or, you know, like, so long ago that I barely remember them, you know, the Disney parks in particular. I'll probably want to talk about it. But we'll see how that shakes out. How exactly I, structure that. I mean, like I said, I've already written down, penciled in, like, that's gonna be T2ID. So it's not gonna be like a, oh, here's a Disney Universal SeaWorld review stream or something. Like, nah, that's not what it's gonna be. It's gonna be T2ID first and foremost. I'm definitely gonna make a whole hell of a lot of progress on this game during that stream, but I don't know yet how exactly that all shakes out. Not to mention that there are still like tons of anime coming out, and probably most of them will be out by, probably most of them will be out, or all of them, near all of them, will be out by the time of the Thursday stream. The Thursday after next Thursday stream. But hey, you know, I'll talk about a bunch of them probably on Viewer Level Thursday, on Thursday stream, and probably we'll talk about a whole bunch more, like specific theme park stuff on the Thursday stream as well. That'll be probably what the cards will mostly be focused on for Thursday. An anime block and also a Orlando, you know, oh, I can't, let's talk about this park, let's talk about that park. There's 7 whole parks. I could talk about each of them in turn and say what I'm looking forward to, say, like, what my expectations are, etc., etc. I feel like in broad strokes I've covered it tonight, but where are we going? Room on the left. The door on the left is where we need to go. Cool. I feel like I've covered it well enough so far. I feel like it's time to move on to another discussion. And, like, yeah, I'll probably talk in specific, like, park by park on, like, my expectations, my thoughts, my hopes, etc. On Thursday stream, you know? Third. This is interesting. Weird in this game, you can't move while you bow independently. Unlike Wind Waker, which let you do that. HD did anyway. Maybe there would have been like too much of a balance issue. Not sure if balance is really relevant in a single player game quite, but you know, maybe that would have thrown off like the how hard certain things are if you could do that. I guess I still think it would be worth doing just to make the game, you know, like a little bit like more modern. we're supposed to do. Like, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? Kaboom! Alright, one thing I have been thinking about so far, a little bit, something I think about before I go on any trip, which, isn't packing. It's, media for the plane. Whenever I'm on a plane ride, you know, it's like 2-3 hours, right? And that's about what this flight is going to be, I'm pretty sure, like 2-3 hours. And you always gotta think, like, okay, what am I watching? What am I playing? And, I'll say right now, I'm not playing that many Switch games, so I'm not really sure what exactly I will play on the, flight. I will say, you know, a few weeks ago... Fuck. I see what I had to do there. I had to use the bow from the upside down position. I will say a few weeks ago, I started replaying the Messenger, and then just like, you know, scrubbed through a video to get to the end and get all the lore bits I might need for Sea of Stars. But now that I finished Sea of Stars, I've actually been playing a little bit of that, a little bit of the Messenger, like, you know, idly, whenever I want something to just play and not think too much about it, you know, as like a podcast game or whatever. It also helps being on Switch because, you know, I can play it without, like, doing a lot of setup. I just have to yank a thing out of the thing and then hit a button. I don't even have to switch inputs if I don't want to. You know, it's pretty fucking good. Maybe I'll think about getting another Switch game for the plane. We'll see. As for entertainment, I have started rereading a certain book. The first Cinder Spires book by Jim Butcher. Jim Butcher makes the Dresden Files, which I have talked about on this stream probably too much because I re-went through all like 14, 15, 16 books of the Dresden. I think it's like 17 books of the Dresden Files, like earlier this year, and you know, naturally I felt like I'm reading them, I want to talk about them, you know. I'll say Cinder Spires is like a lot less potent, but it's cool. There's like, you know, sort of a steampunk thing. There's like aeronauts, you know, they're like flying around on flying ships. But they're still a little bit sword buckly, you know. They still have like, they still have swords, even though they also have like magic crystals that like shoot laser beams and shit. And like shields and stuff that are based on like the same technology. It's kind of neat, kind of like a Victorian setting, kinda, in like how the culture and how the like world operates from like a thematic point of view, I guess. Which is cool, but you know, it's not, I don't think it does it for me as much as the other series that he's done as, but he's putting out another book in that series like next month, so I feel like I ought to re-listen to, I've been doing the audiobook, by the way, that book, so I'll probably have that on hand to go through, and I think that that'll be a bit of fun. I guess I could also just like start up, I've been going through Hunger Games in line with a podcast, The Shrieking Shack, you know, going chapter by chapter as they do. And I could, I guess, skip ahead to the new book that I haven't read yet, but honestly, I kind of feel like I want to wait and just like wait until they start reading it and then read it with them. And I think that would be very fun to do. But also, since I'm in a Hunger Games mood, I could really go for that book. But, you know, it probably won't be too long until they get there. I mean, they're already in book 2. They'll be in book 3 before, like, a couple months from now, and then a couple months later, probably, you know, onto the book. right? Onto the book that I haven't read yet. As for other ideas, I have been like going through the Ghibli movies, and I could do My Neighbor Totoro is the next one, so I could save that for the plane. That said, Grave of the Fireflies is the one after that, and that one is not on. That one is not on. That one is not on. That one is not on Mac, so if I wanted to watch that on my phone from like a different, like from a plane or from, you know, another state, I would have to do a thing, which seems like too much of a bother. What is the thing here? Oh, shoot him in the head. No, I didn't see him. The camera, you might notice, is very focused on his feet. It's kind of hard to see his head from where we are. Okay. We do the head thing. We pull the chain. There you go. Bob's your uncle. Not sure what else I'll pick up. Maybe I'll like replay another game or something. You know, that would make sense, I think. You know, I am still between like, you know, jobs and shit, so probably would be best to like not just like grab another game unless it's something that people are really like jazzed about. I did hear about one that's apparently about languages and like decoding languages. That sounds kind of cool. Kind of like the language version of like what was that game with the boats where you're on a boat and you're trying to figure out how people died? The boat mystery game. What was that one called? Hang on, boat mystery. Let me check myself. Boat mystery game. Not fame. Game. That was The Return of the Obra Dinn. Yeah. So it kind of sounds like, what is it, like Signalis is something else, but it's apparently it's like the hymns of something or other. The hymns of something or other. Maybe like the poems or something, I don't know. But basically it's a translation game where you're like decoding a language, and you know, there's like multiple languages to decode. It's like a Tower of Babel situation. Sounds kind of neat to me. I might pick that up and play through it. I will say, part of me, like, part of me does hesitate when it comes to getting new games, but not, like, streaming them at least a little bit, you know? Like, a lot of games I feel like would be good content for the first time I play them, you know, but that doesn't always have to be the rule. I can just get a game and just play it on a plane if I want. There have been games like that, you know. Like, I've not played any Humanity on stream, for instance. Didn't play any Chia, but also I didn't really like Chia, so, you know, it's sort of a moot point there. Not everything has to be content. fact, maybe some things shouldn't be content. And I know that, like, yeah, I could cut out some of these, like, streams anyhow, you know, it wouldn't make a big difference. People probably wouldn't mind so much so long as there was still viewer levels. You know, if I ever wanted to step back from streaming, I feel like I say this too often, I could just go to a twice-a-week schedule with, like, some sort of variety thing or playthrough, and then viewer levels, and that's it. And I feel like people wouldn't be too bothered by that. Still, I like doing, like, a playthrough. I like doing variety streams in addition to that. You know, that said, part of me is definitely, like, part of me does say, like, okay, well, you got these Zelda playthroughs planned, like between this one, Wind Waker, which we just finished, and maybe Skyward Sword. You also have, like, the StarCraft 2 campaigns you want to go through those, and also after all that's done, all these specific playthroughs, you know. That is to say, Twilight Princess, StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, Skyward Sword, StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. After that would be Mario Odyssey 100%. And then after that, you know, maybe that would be a good time to step back and, you know, relax for a bit. Just do like a variety stream or a playthrough, but not necessarily one. You know, I don't always need to be starting something new. I could just relax. That'd be fine. I guess we shouldn't begrudge her the circumstance of her life. She didn't choose it after all. I would never wish harm on her. As long as I can get. I feel like I missed some who the fuck was she talking about? This is a guy that we just fought. And does it make sense to be talking about Princess Zelda that way? I don't follow. What's up, dude? You okay? Hang on, we got the heart, right? Yeah, we did. Yeah, let's go outside. Oh, that was another dungeon. Very good. We're 3 hours in. That would be a great time to call it a night, I think. Would be a perfectly good time. Wouldn't mind doing, like, one more thing, though. I do have more cards to talk about. More cards with things on them prepared. How about one more thing? North of here, across the plain past the thing, go to Land Ryu. You will find the one that you seek. Are we going to do the escort thing now, or how does that work? I would do the escort if I could. It might be a thing where they want to do it like, it might be more of a thing like after, like, another chapter or so. I didn't see what he said, but I don't really like this guy anyway. Those monsters left me with the other kids, but they must have taken her somewhere else. Okay, cool. Yeah, you could have told us this like an hour ago, dude, but it doesn't matter. It's not like we were ready to act on it anyhow. He is fine. He's gonna be good. No, I don't. I don't remember what you said in Orden. Oh, that's what you said in Orden. Okay, I remember now. The faces in this game do not look great. I do not like the style of it. Ugh. Nasty. All weird angular design. I guess they look more realistic than Wind Waker, but not in a way that is, like, good. The colors are just a little bit, I don't know. Not quite right. A little bit like... I guess it does look like paint. I think that was like intentionally the style, but like they almost look like dolls in a way that I find a little bit uncanny, I guess, maybe. Does that make sense? I don't know. One more thing. Let's go get that wolf. Let's go get that wolf. Ah, you fucker. Fuck off, dude. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? The place I just left, they couldn't just tell me while I was there? Asshole. I'm glad I wasn't a wolf, I'll say that. That would be more annoying later on. This is the map of Hyrule. Hey, good map. Urgent notice. New sundry shop. Okay. Sure. I got cards. Let me pull some. I also got a pack. Gonna pack like maybe Wednesday, I guess. I usually think too much about packing. I plan ahead, make a list, check it twice, and then just you know, pack like a day or two ahead. You know, or 3 or 4. You know, whenever. I guess I find time for that. I already set aside the cool shirts I'm going to wear. I was gonna wear like another Halloween-y shirt tonight, but then I thought like, oh, let's actually, the one with Knuckles on it. Then I thought like, well, actually, I think I'd rather wear that to Orlando, and I don't know if I'm gonna do laundry again before the trip, so yeah. Gonna have to figure that out, get that whole thing, like, sorted out. The one thing I don't want to do is ever, like, be somewhere and realize I don't have something that I need, you know. I want to be prepared for any situation, and as such, I tend to pack a little bit heavy, you know. I want to be prepared just in case I need to change shirts twice a day for some reason. Which I'll say I have on previous trips to Universal sometimes made happen, you know. Like, in some cases, I have been, like, a mite bit sleepy. So I would, you know... Where is that? A mite bit sleepy, so I would, you know, return to the hotel, have a nap, and then come back out in some other clothes, you know? Or, like, after doing water rides, wanting to get into dry clothes. I'll say I'm, you know, this time I'm staying with my cousin at her, like, apartment, so, you know, it's, we're not going to be on site, so I'm going to have to just manage as far as, like, you know, returning to the place, you know, that's not going to be an option. I'm just going to have to wait until the end of the day before I return. Which, I'll say, I have been to theme parks and I have, like, you know, I have managed before, so shouldn't be such a big deal. I think I should be able to manage, you know. At a hot theme park, I also find that, I'll say, for my part, I don't really like public bathrooms that much, so I'll try to avoid them as much as possible. And, you know, when you're out at a theme park walking around in the sun all day, you can usually, like, you're sweating so much, it means that, you should be good for some other things, you know? Without necessarily having to find a private, find privacy. Like, that's not gonna be a thing. I am ready. Lay it on me. So I'll be, like, figuring that out. I'll be packing the next few days and then, you know, go. Here we go. Shield attack, yeah. Brand new skill for this here game. Easy. You just hit the right dealy-do. And that, I guess that's also part of why they need to move the shield to be, like, automatically blocking. I jumped for some reason. I feel like the last time I was just trying to just do the normal thing, but, I don't know. We'll get 5 more skills as we go. Very good. I'm going to take Link to the Twilight so that next time we'll begin, like, near Twilight. So let's go ahead and travel back. And, you know, we'll continue from there next time. Do Twilight stuff. Or, you know, like all the bugs and shit. And then do that. Next Switch, gotta be backwards compatible, right? I saw some video basically saying, like, it doesn't have to be. And I think that that is the silliest thing I ever heard. The Switch is a good thing. You don't mess that up by, like, breaking compatibility or even, like, changing the product idea massively. Like, no, Super Switch is good enough for my money. And I think, like, most people will be down for, like, a Super Switch if it is, like, you know, a significant enough power bump and can handle, like, as close to this generation games as you can get. You know, that would be rad. We're heading towards the end, so let me just pop the last part or two. Sleep stuff. Trying to sleep and like, wake up more on a regular schedule. I'll say recently, I feel like I've been tired no matter how many hours I sleep or, like, how late I sleep or whatever, but definitely want to get that in check. You know, when I get up in the morning, I feel like I ought to just, like, you know, right now the first thing I tend to do is just, like, do a bunch of LinkedIn stuff, and I feel like I should set a better schedule, set a better routine, and instead start with breakfast, maybe go for a walk, you know, nice bit of exercise, you know, and then do LinkedIn stuff and do other such productive business, you know. Feel like that might be a more productive way to start my day, in a way that just, like, you know, gets me more awake than just, like, messaging a bunch of, like, recruiters and job stuff, you know. I feel like that would get me up more, I guess. Also, just as, like, you know, I have on occasion reflected that, like, the best way to do waking up in the morning isn't to like, you know, the best way to get up in the morning isn't to, like, just start watching something. It's to just, like, go outside, probably, I think. Right? Like the sun. Seeing the sun, I think, is a big part of, like, calibrating one's sleep schedule, and a morning walk would accomplish that in a way that, you know, staying inside in the dark would not. I guess I also should think about, like, undoing my curtains in the morning, but I don't know. I don't really want to mess with them, and I do like having, like, a set lighting. You know, I don't want it to get, like, lighter or darker or see what's out there. I'd rather just, you know, thing be consistently lit. I'll say also, you know, I used to do Flux. I don't know if that's really effective. I was always frustrated by, like, how, you know, obviously not every device has it. You know, if you want to play video games, play on your Switch. You know, your PC is going to have, but your game consoles aren't. It's not ideal. And when I started streaming, it became, you know, kind of a liability insofar as I need to see the actual colors that exist. And, you know, I can't be, like, disabling every night. It really just didn't make sense for... It just really didn't make sense for me, you know, at that point. It seems like a good thing, though, and maybe it would be helpful if I, like, went back to that or something. Like, maybe if I had, like, programmable lights, which, you know, hey, I live in an apartment, lights are provided. But also I could replace them if I really wanted to. If I had programmable lights that, like, did that sort of thing automatically, maybe that would be fine, even if, like, the consoles and screens did not do any sort of flux thing. There's a shop, right? What's up with that? Let's look around real fast, and then we'll head out to the place. Can we get bombs? Hey, can I buy bombs? Yeah, I'll take it. Give me the thing and the bomb bag. Oh, and you get bomb arrows as well. That's pretty sweet. I guess this is where bomb arrows were introduced. That's, one of the cooler things that they put in the games, I'll say. And, hey, fuck, you know, in Wind Waker, there was actually a weird amount of, like, overlap between Wind Waker and, Tears of the Kingdom. But, like, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, whatever, you know. I guess both games kind of similar in ways, but hey. Ah, that's a fly! Fly hanging out on my arm. I felt it. Ooh, that's weird. Here's where the fusion thing first came into being. How the fuck? How do you do this? Oh! Wait. I'm trying it with the touchscreen. Drag the bomb onto the arrow on the... Oh, you can drag it onto the ZL button on the touchscreen. That's weird. Not quite intuitive, but there you go. That was the first attempt they had at fusing. Very cool. Anyway, I think I have just one last card here. No, I have two more, actually. I finished Gris. Did that yesterday. Thought it was alright. Thought it was fun. I did find a lot of the gameplay to be, you know, kind of consistent of, like, walking around very slowly in a way that I was kind of frustrated by. But it's alright. It's beautiful. It has a good amount of set pieces and a good amount of, like, mechanical variety. Way too many of its gameplay sequences just involve, like, walking from one side of the screen to the other, and it being, like, kind of boring, other than the fact that it's got bit of visual beautifuls. Beautiful visuals to soak in. But, it's alright. I enjoyed it enough. I'll think about which way it ends up. I'm still really behind on my backlog, so it'll be a while until I can review this motherfucker again, that game. We just got a letter from you not 10 minutes ago, dude. How come you... Okay, well, I did just buy bombs from the bomb shop. You're right. Okay. I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much. What we got? A tutorial for bomb arrows. I figured it out, thank you. Let's go to the place where the Twilight Realm starts, and then we'll end. I got one more other than Gris. Just wanted to touch on it and say, like, hey, yeah, I finished it. I have some thoughts, not a ton of them. It's a relatively short game. It's on Game Pass. I'd say it's worth a look, and maybe you'll be more into it than I am. Maybe it sounds more like a 4 out of 5, more I talk about it than a 3. I also played some more Armored Core. I said on, like, the other day that I wasn't sure how to feel about it. You know, I was at a point where I was, feeling pretty stuck. Well, I got back into it last night and, like, put together a mech that, was able to beat the challenge, the level I was stuck on. So, that's fun. I wasn't even really stuck on it for so long. I just, you know, got jammed up enough where I really didn't know what to do from there, and I just had to just stick with it a little while longer, and, you know, I was able to push through and finish her up, you know? I was able to finish up that game. Okay, so they just stole the bridge, so we won't be going back there anytime soon. That's how the game is going to, like, you know, structure things for us. Let's go ahead and let's make that portal real quick. Not like that. I feel like the annoying insect is still around. Anyway, was able to push through. That game is really fun. I used a tank build for the first time. The tank build seems a little finicky. It's, you know, it's not good to move around as a tank, I will say. But it is very tanky. You know, it takes a lot of damage, and for the fight I was on, it can also use a lot of really heavy ordnances, which seems pretty handy in select circumstances. I'll probably mess around with that to try to optimize like a heavy build, a light build, whatever. I do like my dual shotgun light reverse joint build, but, you know, I guess that's not going to do it for just every mission that I run into in that game, and, you know, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Well, I keep thinking it's going to be on R, but it's on, another button. Oh, this isn't a bomb wall. I don't know why. Maybe you need a bigger bomb. Anyway, that game's great. I'm having a great time with it. I just, you know, occasionally I run into walls and I get a little frustrated. And, you know, eventually I'm able to push through. Apparently this is the last Twilight we'll see. Let's, if I save right here, where is it gonna load me? Is it gonna load me right here? Let's do that. Let's save and quit. I think we're now, good to go. We got a little farther than just the dungeon. Just by a scotch. You know, spent a little extra time, maybe 10, 20 minutes, just walking from place to place, getting a little bit of that out of the way. I'm gonna hit yes and just hang out in the world for a second. Folks, let me just say real fast, what's going to happen the next few days. Here about is the schedule, as you can see. There it is. Try to get a good... I should probably make the schedule card, like, not go all the way to the middle so that a character can probably be in the middle and probably be mostly outside of it. Whatever, that's fine. Here's the schedule for this this next week. This next week and change. Special schedule on account of being out of town this weekend, like I said, whole to do. I will not be doing a Friday stream this week, nor a Monday stream next week. So I will be doing the viewer levels on Thursday. And also there'll be a making stream tomorrow. And the week after, next week, Twilight Princess will be on Thursday instead of Monday. And viewer levels that week will be on Friday, as they normally should be. That about sums it up. Let's see who's streaming right now, and maybe send y'all somewhere. That sounds good. Sarah Aces, maybe? I can't remember where I know Sarah Aces from, but I think she's... I'm following her from another streamer or something, from another streamer's community, I think. Question mark? Who remembers? But that seems like a good thing. I don't know what exactly she's playing, but it looks cool. I could also stream Piss. I could also raid Piss, who is you know, Drill. That's Piss is Drill's Twitch account, but I don't know what exactly Drill's Twitch streams are like. If they're probably some sort of surrealist thing, and you know, maybe not so much with the recognizing of raids. You know, maybe more of a just like chaotic thing. Maybe I should watch some of his and see what his stream stuffs are like, because I'm curious. I love the man as far as posts and skeets go, but I don't know about the other things. I'm gonna go with Sarah Aces. Let's go ahead and lock that in. Folks, thanks for joining me, for dropping by, for watching a little bit of Twilight Princess HD. I'm gonna pull up that stream on my side. Oh, it's Cyberpunk. Okay, that's fine. I guess this the new DLC that they put out. Never got into Cyberpunk. Not really that interested, I guess. Anyway, let's go ahead and do that raid. Folks, I will see you tomorrow for me working on my next Mario Maker level. I have to figure out what exactly its deal is. My thought is it will start with me just like going into some other platformers for a bit, playing the Lost Worlds, the Krematoas from those games, and think a little bit about like what they can teach us, what directions they sort of took their stuff in, and see if we can't make something similar for this last level that needs a concept. That'll be tomorrow, 8 p.m. or so, maybe 10, I don't know. We'll see. I will see you then. Look for the alerts, or like if you're in the Discord, that's you know, there'll be opt-in notifications there as well. I will see you then. Thursday for viewer levels, and if you're looking for more of this, next Thursday will be more Twilight Princess. Bye, folks.